Hi everybody, today's the 22nd. I grafted these cells 10 days ago and now they're ready to take out, so let's go and harvest some cells. Let's get all these out, get them into the incubator. I'm going to do the first 3 days at once because it's so warm. I'm a bit worried these might have hatched out early, but it's all I can do. I couldn't get to it yesterday because I was so busy at work. So let's take these out. Quite a few drones here that are stuck above the excluder, but they'll fly off. I think I've got some burr comb there because we have had a bit of a flow on. But there you go, that's pretty good. Nice cells. So we've got two here that are, I don't know if you can see this. I'll just show you that. There's two there that get stuck inside sometimes. Just be aware of that when you lift out the frame. So just take these out. Nice warm day. Absolutely no problem with these cells getting cold. Just cut them around. You get a nice cell out like that. Nice cells. This was the first graft, number 1. So that's brilliant. So just knock these bees off. I've actually got a little brush. I'm just going to grab the other side, which will help me. It's just vastly apparent this morning that our flow is just finishing and we are coming to the end of that. And it looks like here we've got some nice, let's just put these here inside. Let's get a little bit organized. Don't want to get them too hot, but also at the same time I don't want to get them too cold, so I'll just keep them out in any breeze. I'm going to quick look at this colony to show you. I put this queen cage in, and this is what my queens are going to be put into. Nice frame of brood. The other side's even more beautiful. Look at that. This is what you get when you set things up right. So the queen is going to go into this very shortly when I finished all my queen rearing. But that's more, it is, in fairness, it's more for my production colonies. This is a lovely colony, this is. And I'm going to take this queen excluder out because I want the queen to have full range and I don't want her to become swarmy and a bit confined. So as soon as I can do, I will take most of my queens out. And sorry, as soon as I can, I'll take most of my queen excluders off because that gives the queen full range over the colony again. I'll put this back on for the moment. To get the queen excluder off, it's pretty simple. I just leave her up one end. This is such a nice colony, it's dead easy. But you just pull off the excluder like that. And then immediately the queen can have access to the colony, to the whole top box. But it's done its job. You see the drones we're getting there. There's a few drones above the excluder. I'll put this in front and they'll crawl out back into the hive, but they have free movement now. This colony's done really well. It's lovely. So that's great. Let's go to the next one. Find some more cells to take out. So this is the colony that I showed you that I just transferred it over, and I put it into a 505, but I didn't have what appeared to be many bees in the top. And I know a lot of people like to see more bees in the top, but I haven't opened this since. Okay, this is graft number 2. This was done, these are day 9 now, perfect time to move them. Just wanted to show you this, what you can achieve. Always move the bars apart first before lifting the cells out, because if they are attached to the other side, and here we are, this is exactly what you can get. Okay? How good is that? Perfect cells. One dud there. We get this sometimes as well. It's like the bees are almost opening up the end because they feel it's nearly time for that queen to come out, and they will be emerging soon, these queens. And in fact, they are wiggling around inside. So we're really close to the end where they're going to start emerging. But that's good. The job done. The colony's strong. It's built out these extra frames. These weren't built out. Do you remember when I put them in? You can see now this one is completely built. I'll just put this on the side here. The metal strips are actually quite good sometimes because I do anchor the frame in sometimes. But I'll just show you this. I've been working really hard. Look at this frame. All built out, all full of honey. So that's about finished now. The flow is finished, but it just shows you what you can achieve with a few bees. But I knew this was going to be a good colony. It was young, had plenty of young nurse bees. So we'll just move this over to here. Always preempt anything when you're moving cells around because you just do not want something to happen. So I'm going to find my brush again. So I keep putting it down just to brush these off. And there you go. They're not huge, but they're still good queen cells. They've all got larvae in, or I should say nearly hatched adults, which is great. Not in the spring. So this was another colony I overwintered. I left it where it was. I've taken brood from it. It's a nice stable colony. And I think this one, yes, this is number 1 as well. So I've already harvested a bar of number 1, but this one was, the first graft didn't have many. So I had 2.5 bars. So I put the 2.5 bars in, so the 1.5 bars in this one, and the other one in the one I've just harvested over there. So let's see what they did with this. Pretty hopeful that we've done well. So I parted the frames even more so that I had more room to fit these last 2 in. Usually I just put 1 bar in, but this time I put 2, and there's no metal bar on this one support bar. So I have to be a little bit careful with this one. But it looks absolutely fine. Let's see what they've done with it. See if we've got cells. And we have 4 cells in the middle there, which is exactly what I put in. Obviously 1 didn't take for some reason, but that's no big deal. We immediately know if we've got cells that the others are going to have cells on, because if there was a queen in here, she would have torn them down already. Let's just move this over. There's a lot of nectar in this colony. It's very strong. I need to harvest some bees from here because I know there's brood in this as well. So I'll have to jiggle this around after when I take, because I've got to make another builder up, and I'm going to take something from all my builders that have been so busy. This is what I had to do because it was so congested here, but hopefully we're going to be okay here. Yes, I think a couple are going to come out. Yeah, a couple have come out. There we go. They're a little bit, this is what happens sometimes, they're a little bit congested. I've got the cells here just to cut out a little bit. But luckily they're nice bees, pretty straightforward. A bit of burr came on that. I could have put more comb further away and sorted this problem out, but I just didn't have time. That's the way it is sometimes. But they're all good cells, no problem. They're made in a flow, so what, you know? That's the most important thing. That one's a nothing, that one's a dud. So that's not bad. Not brilliant, but it's still good cells. They weren't torn down by the queen. End of. Did a good job. Another finisher that is usable. Just needed to put some more foundation further away in this one because it was already quite congested. But hey ho, such is life. We try and get it right, but we can't always get it perfect. So I'm not upset by that whatsoever. So I'll come back and adjust this one properly. I'll have to flip some frames around because they've built a little bit on here, but that's absolutely fine. So that's good. Another one out. This is number 2. So this is ready tomorrow. Day 10 is tomorrow for this one, but these can all be harvested today. And I'm going to try and find the number 3. But I've got a feeling number 3 is the one I forgot to mark as number 3. But at least I know it's that one. Have we got cells? Yes, we have, by the look of it. These look nice. Wow, these are whoppers. Look at those beauties. Absolutely gorgeous cells. Oh, a couple at the end there. One might have broken open or started to hatch. Or they didn't like it, one or the other. See, that's just one of those things, but that's pretty good cells, all nice and uniform, inner flow. You can see the extra wax, and it's also interesting to note how different the cells can be. So, because they finish them differently and they work differently, that's just how it is. Well, that's what I find anyway. Nice. Yep, they're pretty good. Just going to have a quick look and show you these cells I put under. I ran out of room the other day, so I'm just going to show you these cells. I have to just bring this around a bit. Okay. At least you'll be able to see what the cells look like I put in the super. Now, I don't know what they're going to be like. There's the cells, the extra. They might have chopped this up with comb, but the flow wasn't that strong. So a little look under here. There's not a lot of honey in here. I think they're just going to probably put wax on it. Let's see what we've got. We know the queen wasn't in the super. Pretty nice bees. This is what you do when you run out of space. 3 cells there, 1, 2, 3, and they have built them very nicely. Let's take out and have a look at these. These aren't quite ready yet, so I'm not going to take them all out. And I'm not going to, because I've got not much room in the incubator, so these can stay in for a couple more days. There we go. Look at the raw jelly in that. Nice. So let's lift out this cell bar and have a little look, because it's easy to lift out and see if they built comb onto it. I don't know if they have. Oops. A little bit careful here. Okay, we're good, we're good. Can I get this out before it falls? Just about. There we go. Okay, let's see what they've done with this. A lot of propolis, but look at those cells. Absolutely stonking. So that's a very good method. It shows what you can use. This is a standard colony. I knew it wasn't very good in the spring. It gave a little bit of honey in the spring. I took the super off. I've taken a frame of brood out of it before. It wasn't fantastic, but the flow isn't fantastic. It just shows how slow our whole spring and summer has been because of the weather. So these are number 5. These are still 3 days of. I'm going to be a bit careful with these actually. These are not ready for another 4 days yet. So they're on day 6, 7 now. Okay, probably day 6. So I've got to be a little bit careful not to move them too much. But it just shows you what you can do when you haven't got, if you've run out of finishers. Because this is technically a 10 frame box with an excluder and an excluded compartment at the top where bees will finish cells. It's normal for bees to make queen cells in the top of the supers in the summer. If you don't have queen excluders on, often that's how you can get natural supersedure, as they'll way away from the queen won't find the cell, and they'll make one, and then it's kind of do you, don't you, does she, doesn't she, whether they change her. But this is in nature, this is exactly what you could use. So it's perfectly normal as far as the bees are concerned to find a cell that needs finishing above an excluder. But anyway, absolutely lovely. Not much honey here. Let's take this frame out and have a look, see how much honey we got on this. We haven't got a lot, unfortunately. It's a bit difficult to get out because it's welded to the excluder, and usually I take out the excluder first. We got a little bit in there. So we got some honey in there. You can see it in there. So I mean, there is a honey harvest. It's not brilliant, but it's certainly, this should be full, and the second one should be full, bordering on a third in a normal year, you know. So we are so far down. But anyway, that's what you can do when you have no finishers. If you've just got a couple of beehives with a super on top, and you've got bees in the super, they must have bees in the super, and you want to put the cells right above the brood nest middle, because that's where the majority of the nurse bees are. They'll come up and they'll feed these bees. Works just fine, as you can see. Very good. So I'm back up from the garden to collect all these beautiful cells. Pretty happy with the results. This is only, I think, about the first full grafts. I've got to check again, but I can't really bring any more up because my incubator is going to be full. I mean, you can see the difference in sizes we're getting. We're getting some that are absolutely waxed up to the hilt, like that one. And then the other ones, which aren't, they're probably nothing to really shout about, but they're queen cells. And they're full of royal jelly, and they've got larvae in and are about to hatch. Now, this is the only day I've had this year where I can actually relax now and bring these cells up in my own time. I'm usually like fighting the weather being so cold. Well, you can see my shirt, excuse this, but it's like I've only been out there like an hour to get these in, and I was doing a bit of filming and stuff like that. In that time, it's running off my back. We're 32 degrees out there. We're not used to this type of heat, but it's kind of going to go tomorrow or the day after. A big thunderstorm's coming through, and we're back to a normal 23, 25 next week, which is much more pleasant and a more of a mobile airstream. But it'd still be foraging for the bees. But as I was there today, you could see there was very little activity, and the flow is virtually stalled and finished. I don't expect any more nectar flow. I really am annoyed about it, but it is what it is. So I've got to concentrate now and focus on making lots of really good queens in a timely fashion, because I've got about 2 weeks to make as many splits as I can, because if I don't do it in the next 2 weeks, it's going to be a week to get the queen in, blah, 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 and they'll need time to mate. All the ones I mate always do get mated, but the sooner you can do it, the better. And don't forget, all I'm doing is taking a bit of bees and brood from an already strong colony and putting it into a box, giving it a queen. There's loads of ways of doing it, but it's all about having nukes ready for next year. I can either sell those nukes to make a bit of profit because I'm not going to have much honey. I can use them for increase in my sheptail, my whole beekeeping business, or I can use them to cover winter losses, or I can use them, keep them in boxes and split them in the spring and get early queens and give them a queen. Is so many options you can do. But the main thing is you've got bees with a queen, and it's a resource that is, I still can't believe there's people that don't split their colonies at the end of the season. I know a lot of people go to the heather, and that is obviously a prerequisite. It takes over in preference to making splits. But what you could do is you could take 80% of your colonies to the heather and still leave, say, 20%. And if you've got 50 colonies, you leave, I don't know, 7, 8, 10 at home. You take the other 40 there, for example, and you split those. At least it gives you a few extra nukes. And if the heather's not looking very good, you make a decision. You say, no, I'm not going to make much on the heather. I'll leave my colonies here and split them all, and that might give me 50 nukes or 20 nukes. But whatever you get, it's 20 or 50 more than you would have had by doing nothing. Because all the bees do is decrease in numbers after a certain time. When the flow doesn't come in and everything stalls, the queen slows down, and that's, as you know, the time that varroa starts and to really get strong and everything increases. So use your bees now. Use them up wisely. Make some splits. You've got really nothing to lose, and all you're doing is making plans for next year. You're putting into place something you can do for very little money. Because there's ways of making nukes. You could do walkaway splits. It might not be the best genetics you get, but at least you get a new queen and a colony and support staff that will take her through the winter. And if you've got winter losses, where is your replacements? Right in your apiary where you need them. So I'm going to get these in the incubator. It was just to update you. These were obviously the cells I made when we were live last week. And I'm going to kind of keep on with this, see how they go into the nukes as well. One more thing, I do apologize for the sound quality on all my videos the last 3 weeks. It just seems to have got worse, and I'm looking in carefully the best way to change it. I take on board your comments, and thanks very much for your patience. I will get to the bottom of this, but at the moment I've got to be a little bit careful financially, but I'm just trying to find the best solution. I don't mind paying out and buying new equipment, but I want to make sure I buy the right equipment. But anyway, stay tuned and keep in touch, and I'll get back to you soon. Take care. Bye for now. Have a good weekend.